Welcome, citizen, to another StarCraft Nation broadcast. I'm your host, Venerati, and today it's the weekly update. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. And who else is with me today?
I'm Akami.
And I'm Adia.
Alright, guys, we have a lot in store. Oh, let me take my list of important stuff on here. We're going to be having an interview with Spectral, the quadriplegic gamer. We're going to do a little bit of discussion over warp prisms, their use, lack of use, and such. We're going to go over GSL ratings. Is it slipping? Why is it slipping in Korea? I can already tell you half the reason why. Rain. GSL maps. Adding new maps. Big news. Non-Blizzard maps. Goodbye, Steps of War. Thank God. And I guess we're going to start off with TSL 3.
You just watched the intro video. Liquid Noni, Tyler Wazewski. I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. It's total guess. Polish name. Those things are crazy.
Tyler.
Winner of the TSL 2. Amazing tournament sponsored by PokerStrategy.com. Can't hesitate to say that. Great sponsor. Had a $20,000 prize pool for last TSL in 2009, I believe. And then this year, $34,500 prize pool for TSL 3 on StarCraft 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
It's really
First
incredible.
prize is $15,000.
15 grand.
that is...
The biggest tournament
Yeah.
ever held outside of Korea.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's great. It really is great to see that kind of stuff outside of Korea, because with Brood War, there really wasn't that much interest with this kind of deal in North America. Especially, there was a bigger scene in Europe, I believe, but it's really good to see these kind of prize pools coming in there, because that means that there is corporate interest, and that's what's going to drive esports into being.
There'll be 13 seeded South Korean players.
Yeah, strangely enough, they just decided to seed 13 South Korean players.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's impossible to organize the logistics of playing between South Korean server time and their time and our qualifier time, and they didn't want to leave out one of the most talented player pools in the world. So they did seed 13 players from South Korea. This is PokerStrategy.com's second TSL. They sponsored the last one as well. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but PokerStrategy.com, an awesome website. I'm going to shout out to them because they are the sponsor. They obviously a poker website. They go through this whole training thing, and if you're not living in the United States, then you can get $50 free just for taking their quizzes. They'll put it on the poker site of your choice. They'll teach you how to play. They'll teach you how to make money, and it's a really, really cool website. Unfortunately, it's closed to citizens of the United States. You can't make an account due to poker and gambling laws in the United States. So
awesome. But as you just saw flipping on the screen, that is pretty much logistics behind all of it if you haven't seen the TL thread yet. Obviously, the prize pool right here, huge, great stuff. There's a little bit of what's going on with the seeds, the qualifiers, times, dates, all that kind of information. Obviously, it's very important for us to support this kind of stuff, because if PokerStars doesn't have any views, then PokerStrategy.
PokerStrategy.com.
PokerStrategy. Holy crap.
Say it 10 more times and they'll have to start paying you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting paid by then. But
I am
basically,
not a representative of PokerStrategy.com.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's really good stuff. Lots of stuff here. What's next?
TSL 2, Noni, Liquid Noni. Everyone knows Liquid Noni. Great Protoss player in StarCraft 2. Popularized use of Phoenixes in a lot of matchups. He is immediately seeded as the last champion, as well as Fnatic Sen and Mondragon, a European Zerg player who is actually coming to StarCraft 2 now to play for TSL 3. Up to date, he's still stuck with Brood War. He hadn't made a big splash in the StarCraft 2 scene. Yep. So those three players are seeded into the bracket for finishing top 3 in the last TSL.
Well, there you go. My question is, though, what do they have planned for the next one?
For the next
TSL 4. Have they released any information?
No information released. Of course, it's been a year since we've had TSL 2, so they gotta... Actually, they did say that this is kind of like a trial run. The logistics of this is very hard to organize, and they wanted to do more like a ladder sort of qualification, but of course you can't do that with Blizzard ladder.
No.
TSL 2 used the iCup ladder for qualifiers. They qualified, I'm not sure whether it was the top 16, I forget exactly, but the top X number of players on the iCup ladder were qualified for the tournament. And so they want to do that for this tournament, obviously, but it was impossible. So instead, they're going to do the point system quite like MLG does.
Yeah.
Using the TeamSpeak Team Liquid Open Cups as the qualifying tournaments for that. The first of which was held today.
Well, there you go. It's going to be interesting to see if these tournaments move away from just the online portion, because that's talking about the time problems and how you had to seed the Koreans and you didn't want to leave them out. Shifting a lot more onto live events, because MLG for North America, MLG is pretty much it for the overall live events, and it's going to be interesting to see with successes like this, because TSL 2 was all the success. Otherwise, they would not have been.
They would have a $34,000 prize pool.
Exactly. And so that is going to be the key. Just getting that kind of money behind it. People are going to get excited. People are going to want to do this, and it's just going to snowball. And I cannot wait.
Interesting is that it's actually going to be a live final from New York. The players will go to the Team Liquid headquarters in New York City to play, but there won't be a live venue for fans to watch. No plans for that right now. They might have a fan meeting with the players before the final, but no live audience. He said it says maybe for TSL 4. So quite like all the Korean Star Leagues where you can go and watch every match, we may see a TSL 4 running in the United States where all the players can have a live audience, which would be really, really cool. It's always been one of my dreams to go to South Korea and watch one of the Star League finals.
But it's even more interesting to consider that it would happen on this continent as well.
Right, exactly.
Well, and it's funny because I was talking to someone the other day, and to see the difference, starting this off with like South Korea. South Korea, the StarCraft players are stars, they're superstars. So whenever in South Korea, if you were to say, oh, I was late because I was watching a match of StarCraft 2, someone would know something like that. But here in North America, they would give you this weird ass look and be like, "What the hell are you talking about? What is StarCraft? Why are you late? You're fired."
I think even in South Korea, if you're late to work, you're probably still fired. Well, I don't think StarCraft works as a viable excuse for that.
It's not the excuse itself; it's the fact that it's not socially known. That's not okay. Getting a signature from Idra will garner no respect or excitement for anyone outside of this exclusive being. Whereas, if someone gets a signature from Mark McGuire or whoever the hell it is, I don't like to watch baseball, but I know who it is, and I would have some level of reverence or would understand it. So the point being, this kind of shit is going to change that for North America, and it's going to take a long time. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. I'm really excited. I don't know if I've told you yet, but I'm really, really excited about this.
One interesting fact is that Demag is actually banned from TSL 3 for abusing the ladder system in TSL 2.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. One of the top players, top European players.
He's banned for 12 months, right?
Banned for 12 months from the last TSL as well as TSL 3.
Oh, wow.
Also, Yosh, I don't know if you guys know who Yosh is.
No.
He taught the UC Berkeley StarCraft course.
Oh, okay.
So he abused this TSL 2 ladder too, and so he was banned.
What exactly does abuse be defined as?
On the iCup ladder, they would make a second account or have a friend and they just beat them over and over to get a lot of ladder points, and so that's considered abusing because you're not like legitimately playing other players from the ladder to gain the points.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing there, and you can't get around Rich Team Liquid's tech guru. He'll find you no matter where you are.
Well, I think it would be relative. I mean, if you look in the match history and they're playing the same exact guy, and the same exact guy continues to accept these challenges, and you take all of his points away, like it's obvious, and it kind of hurts my head a little bit to think that these people would be doing it and think they're going to get away with it.
Yeah.
As sports go and as games go, there's always going to be people cheating and that kind of stuff, but it's fucking retarded. I mean, at least do it where you're not going to get caught. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Oh.
TSL 3 is a wrap. I mean, it's going to be an incredible tournament, and I think Noni is a heavy favorite to win.
I can't wait to see I can't wait to see it. I probably won't get to see it live, but I cannot wait to see the replays. I even cast a couple of replays, too, if I can get my damn computer.
We had the first qualifier tournament, the TeamSpeak TLS2 Open number 8, and we have our first qualifier, who is actually Koss, part of the Empire clan, and then Ciara, Naniwa, Thorzane, White Ra, Haswabs, Adele Scott, Straylock, and several other players.
Straylock? If I remember, who is Straylock?
Who is Straylock?
Did
previous
we beat him
comment.
in Brood War one?
No, God, no. It's EG Machine. Oh, I'm tired of hearing that.
It's easy. Machine.
I'm really glad to see White Raw where he is.
Yeah, definitely.
An old veteran like that.
Look at all these new names: Thorzane, Ciara, Koss, 91. 91's obviously a little more
Beastly QT. What the
Who
fuck?
are these people? I
Beastly
mean,
cutie.
this is what's
Pretty
awesome
cute.
about the Team Liquid.
Oh, I was thinking the Fat Girl angles again.
Oh gosh,
No.
this is
Beastly
what's awesome about
cutie.
the TSL though is that all these players would never be invited. They're no names, but they may qualify for for the biggest tournament outside of Korea. I love this qualifier or the format.
I
Yeah.
think... What?
I really enjoy it. I think that it opens up a lot of positions to players that would otherwise be unrecognized for their talent.
Yeah. Well, that exactly. I was going to make the same point because there's going to be a need for new names. These people that are in currently, people want to see new stars come, and it's going to happen because people leave, people start to suck, people get pissed, they don't play anymore, people get banned.
Mm-hmm.
So that opens up new positions for talent, new talent to come in, and it's going to be interesting to see how these people come into the StarCraft scene and how they affect it. You know, I really hope it's going to be a positive thing. I hope it's not going to be all SVV Marine all ends, because that's.
I don't know. I think you
we've
should
seen
disregard
that.
that. I really like TSL. Right?
Let's go ahead and change it up just a little bit. The new GSL maps. That is pretty awesome. A grand total. Oh, how many maps did we get? Four new maps and
Goodbye, Steps of War.
Steps of War, Be Gone,
And
Demon.
Blistering Sands.
Blistering Sands. I didn't mind Blistering Sands too much, but
Whoa.
apparently a lot of people didn't like it.
It was really good for Zerg, and
That's why I didn't mind it.
that's why we loved it. I mean,
That big old back door, that fat ramp.
this is the biggest announcement that StarCraft 2 has had to date.
Mm-hmm.
This is bigger than any patch that's been released.
If this is the direction that it's going to start to go, if this shift continues, I really think that we're going to see the quality of the game go up, because these maps give us something that the Blizzard maps couldn't. I can't really quantify what exactly. Do you have a stab? I mean, other than quality, obviously.
Size is obviously a big deal. Are we showing the map pictures right now?
We can go ahead and do that right now.
Fire Gardens, the very first one, I thought was really interesting. They reduced the
6.
they reduced the base size by a third, I believe, in the entire map, which allows for quite a few.
Can't make it any bigger.
No, this is as big as it gets, unfortunately.
Well, pretty much what we got going on here. Awesome.
Large
4-player map.
Large 4-player map. This one, initial reaction is Zerg favored. We have a backdoor expansion here. Protected, no other entrances. Vulnerable to air, but spore crawlers around this area. 1, 2, 3, and you got a safe expansion here. A relatively safe to take third, which is very important. You can cover this ramp right here with spine crawlers.
Yeah.
You push the creep out to here, you cover this ramp with spine crawlers, and then all of a sudden you've got your units rallied here to control, and you've got very safe 3 base right here, which is very important for Zerg. That third gas, very important.
And at the same time, there is a horizontal and vertical direct rush of 24 seconds between the two bases.
Yeah.
The 24 second. How does that compare to Steps of War?
I think
no
they were
idea.
in the mid-30s.
No,
No,
Steps of
it
War was short.
It was short. I think it would be more like, I think it was 16 or 17 seconds.
17?
Something
Explain the
It was gay as
stakes
hell,
for it.
especially when Zealots had that speed up. Well, it wasn't upgraded, it got
Right.
downgraded. Either way, though, it's going to be very awesome. It's going to be amazing to see how these maps affect the gameplay that comes from our players, because these maps are going to affect styles. These maps are going to create new situations that we haven't seen yet, and therefore we're going to see adaptation. And I really think that the quality is going to go up. Everything this week is a positive week. I think the last week, the pilot, was definitely a Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
Because it was just,
TSL Rain.
fail. Yeah, TSL rain,
Yeah.
shat all over my GSL.
Oh, come on. You didn't
and,
like that. You guys are just angry because
well,
you racked the hell out of the entire world.
yeah, well, that's the point.
Yeah. That's... Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
So?
Yeah. Basically, this is a positive thing. iCut maps, amazing.
Well, these
the
aren't
Brood
iCut
War-
maps.
Well, no, but iCut maps are amazing as well. But
Right.
the old Brood War translation into the new map. What was the name of the map?
The one that... This
The
one
last
right here,
one.
the fourth one?
Yeah, the fourth one.
Shin Peaks
Crossfire.
of Baekdu. Yeah, it's called Crossfire now. It's basically a complete remake of the Brood War map Shin Peaks Big which was awesome. Had a lot of really, really memorable games on that map.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most important things is, like, the Brood War maps are so memorable. Like, even the first map, I forget what this one's called. Ire Garden is pretty... It looks a lot like a reskin of Fighting Spirit with an extra base, which is really interesting. Well, and it's not really an extra base, it's just like a protected base.
Yeah. I'm actually really interested in to see the third, the Biohazard one.
Biohazard looks terribly difficult for Zerg. So many choke points.
Oh, yeah.
Well, with the Protoss force fields, that's going to be fun.
Biohazard. That's this one, right?
Yeah. No. That was the first one. That one is Deloran Shrine or something.
Biohazard.
Biohazard.
Okay, well, either way, they are looking at the blue one. Of course, another 4-player map. That is going to be scary for Zerg players. Mm-hmm. The particular maps, especially with all these choke points that you're going to be seeing, that is going to really wreck your day when you're using Lings. Because Lings need room to run free. They need to be free range, Lings.
You can just 2-rack it and win.
Okay,
well, I think the maps are definitely going to be a positive thing.
It shows that Blizzard's at least listening to the community.
Yeah.
Because maps have been the biggest complaint since release.
Yeah, you have to sort out that land stuff, right?
Well, that too.
If only baby Jesus. Please give me land. Actually, I called Blizzard the other day and had to change my name, and they gave me a survey form, and I definitely said, they had like any other things you want to say. I was like, fucking give me land support before I murder everyone, because it needs it.
Whoa.
What about the GSL rating? The map change, I think, came just in time. This is going to be good news to counter, because apparently GSL in Korea isn't all it's been cracked up to be.
There are a couple of viewpoints on this. First is that StarCraft 2 never really got any hype in Korea. No one ever really got excited about it. They already have Brood War.
Yeah.
It's like saying...
Oh my god, I'm just going to have a tally. How many times is he going to talk about Brood War? We're up to like 10 already.
Well, it's like giving someone a Porsche and then later giving them a brand new...
Porsche 911 Boxer, twin turbo.
No, it's like...
That still spells midlife crisis.
No, it's like giving them a Mustang.
Oh.
It's like, it's a good car, but we've already got a damn Porsche.
Yeah.
We've got the ultimate in StarCraft like experience. We have the ultimate in RTS gaming, the ultimate esport. This is
okay.
Nice.
Well, what were they supposed to do?
Because midlife crisis car.
They don't have to do
StarCraft
anything.
2.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So
what? Give Brood War a graphical upgrade? Is that what you're saying? Redesign the
No,
engine?
I'm saying don't even touch it. It's perfect. The game is perfect.
But we have StarCraft 2 now. We are in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, but going back to it never caught on in Korea. They had surveys, they had pre-release information said South Koreans never got interested in StarCraft 2. Now, GSL finals have had and round of 16 on have had good turnouts. The problem was that the first day of Code A and Code S qualifiers had terrible turnout. They had 20 people online. Or 20 people show up to the tournament.
What?
Yeah, 20 people.
What was the seating?
500. They rented out a 600-seat stadium.
Oh my god.
And they had 20 people show up. Now, I read a post on there from a South Korean saying it was really cold. It was on a Sunday, which was unusual. It's usually on a Saturday. And with GSL being streamed online, a lot of Koreans just watch it from home. These three factors can add up to low... Also, the fact that it was early in the tournament, no one gives a shit this early in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Later on, they'll have more viewers. But I think it still bodes ill because StarCraft Brood War has 1,000 people show up to the first day of every Star League.
Yeah, that sounds like a mix-up on their side as far as not really scouting out what kind of what the seating is, and that made the situation what it was. Yeah. Because if they'd rented some seats, or hell, if they didn't even really have the live part to begin with, it really wouldn't have made a big scene. But because they expected, I think that the whole hype that GSL doesn't have the ratings that how would you say that? GSL has poor ratings in South Korea. I think GSL bit off a little more than they chew.
Yeah,
I think that they expected too much, and that it'll take time. But I don't know the social climate of Korea at all, South Korea. So
the big thing is that it was on a Sunday, I think. which is strange because all those turns are usually on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So people weren't expecting it.
Well,
It's hard to say exactly how GSL is doing and StarCraft 2 is doing until, I don't know, until a year or two when maybe they have a bigger tournament than Brood War. Because right now Brood War is still the thing.
Brood War.
But see, that's just it. StarCraft 2 is going to live underneath the shadow of Brood War until it surpasses it, and it's going to take a while.
Of course.
Until then, watch Winners League. Shinhanbing Pro League right now is phenomenal. Every game is incredible. There are no games like
Fantasy.
Fantasy is the baddest.
Oh my
ass.
god,
That is so
Fantasy is amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be. I just can't wait till we get that out of StarCraft 2.
I hope it does someday, but I'm hesitant. I get frustrated watching GSL a lot.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and pull this up. Pretty interesting enough. We're going to go over and cover War Prisms here pretty quickly. Oh, look, there's Skype. And we are going to have an interview here relatively shortly, so I'm going to be setting that up. And why don't you go ahead and lead us into the War Prisms?
Do I have to open it up here?
You don't have your poem? I thought you were writing a poem for this.
Should I go ahead and open it up and come?
No, give me 1 second. Just go ahead and talk about. Basically, give us an idea of what we're going to cover.
Okay. I was watching actually TeamSpeak TSL Cup number 8. That's quite a mouthful. The Adele Scott versus Empire Koss match, and it was on Scrap Station. And in the previous round, Adele Scott had shown a lot of great tactics with the War Prism, and I thought to myself, Brood War, we see a ton of shuttle play, and even in StarCraft 2, Terran has a lot of dropship play. Yeah. But Protoss has not really been able to utilize their Warp Prisms to the same extent that Terran has utilized dropships, and in Brood War, the Protoss use the shuttle. Shuttle Reaver, oh my god, Shuttle High Templar, Shuttle Dark Templar, all these things, incredible harassment options, which can swing the favor in the game completely. One awesome Reaver explosion will completely wreck an entire Zerg economy. And so, Adele Scott was showing us a lot of really cool tricks today with the War Prism. I think that we should explore more in depth the variety of tactics that can be achieved with the War Prism. Specifically, my brainchild is the warp in DT in the Fog of War and take your opponent completely off guard. And up until the highest ranked diamond, people's reaction times and people's scouting is not going to be good enough to predict this Dark Templar warp in. You can load up 4 Zealots and then warp in 3 Dark Templar, and then send in like 1 DT and 2 Zealots to each base, and their economy is going to get so wrecked for such a small price simply because of the amount of mobility and harassment that the Warp Prism opens up.
And that is one of the things that we're seeing, or not seeing we're not seeing from the Protoss, because Protoss at this point is
4 Warp Gate, 3 Warp Gate,
4 Warp Gate, time push, and then throw Colossus or Immortals in there. Most likely Colossus. That's really what we've been seeing on that one. So let's go ahead and look at this. Now, this replay that we're seeing here is in between... who do we got? Yeah.
We have
Empire Koss versus
Adele Scott.
And
this is the round of 8, I believe. Round of 8.
Yeah. And so we're on Scrap Station and notorious for airplay. Now, that is kind of odd because the only air unit that really gets used a lot, well, I don't know, I guess it would be a mix-up in between the Void Ray and the Phoenix, but you really don't see that much airplay from Protoss players. Every once in a while you'll see
more carriers.
Carriers, of course.
I love me some Protoss carriers.
And this is another thing I was thinking about earlier, is that Protoss don't use carriers so much because of the amount of Marines the Terran use. Even in Brood War, Marines ripped apart interceptors so fast that the carriers become immediately useless and a money sink. But because in StarCraft 2 we don't have splash units like we do Reavers, and Storm is a little less powerful, the Bio is infinitely more powerful. If there were Reavers in StarCraft 2, then Bio would get ripped to shreds, and Terran would have to resort to mech play again, just like they do in Brood War. So I would love to see carriers, but until they have a way of outplaying Marines and the big Bio ball that is the Terran style right now, we won't see it in PvT.
Yeah. And what we've got going on here, basically, pretty standard because at this point, we're only 4 minutes in, and we're going to be cranking this out. And this is the idea and the principle behind the Warp Prism is going to be pretty cool, and it's actually unique because you can spawn units remotely. The only thing close to that is the Nidus Worm.
Right.
That's just connecting.
Interesting. The reason this kind of pans out is because Empire Cost was trying to be very aggressive with his early units, taking down these rocks. He's going to try to put a lot of early pressure on his opponent by taking out those rocks. He's working on 3 barriers on 1 base. Obviously, he's definitely going to go for a very aggressive style.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a Warp Prism. Now, look at his units are so out of place over here. Great reaction time.
But they have to walk, and they don't have stem. Its stem is just now coming, so that is where he makes his way. See, and he's attacking things that he knows he can grab. Although
he actually doesn't end up getting a supply depot, but look how many SCVs he had to pull off. His army is not pulling down the rocks anymore, meaning this really aggressive 3 racks aggression build is kind of nullified by 1 unit, 1 Warp Prism, which is going to be flying around his base. Where'd it go?
Now, in response, I would really like to see the Terran player build up some Vikings to counteract the Warp Prism.
But at the same time, look at the tech. We don't even see a factory.
Yeah.
We're pumping out all of our gas into combat shield. We have 50 gas. Because he's going for this really aggressive build, which is going to be 50% of Terran openings, this kind of...
good utilization of the... of his observer, because allowing him to monitor the enemy forces and attack at the same time, this kind of play is very, very reminiscent of Reaver drops, because this is his main thing. He's keeping this massive army at bay with 4 units.
Exactly.
While he is mining, teching, doing whatever the hell he wants to do. Look, he's going to Colossus on 1 base. I mean, he knows what's going to be going on, and he's putting his enemy in where he wants to be. He's positioning his enemy.
Now, I have to say that the choice to go 1 base Colossus actually ends up losing Adele Scott the game, because his harassment fizzles out a bit when he loses his Warp Prism to some Marines. And then mismicros this a little bit. He should have put 1 on the Marine. Either way, he ends up losing this game simply because he tried to tech too hard off 1 base. He doesn't have the army to fend this off. Now, he does have enough sentries to force field this, cut them in half, and pick them off, but he misses the force field, and all the units get off the ramp anyway. So a couple tiny mistakes, and one strategic, what I think is one strategic mistake that actually could have turned out well in his favor had those force fields come out properly. What a use of Warp Prism to delay the game and delay his opponent's aggression, keep him locked up, still on 1 base in 9 minutes, when he could have easily had an expansion by now. Yeah. I love the variety of options that the Warp Prism opens up in the middle of the game. And I think the more we see pros use Warp Prisms, the more oh shit moments we're going to get, like we have in Brood War all the time.
Yeah, because it offers... It really offers you a chance to get that kidney shot in, to really attack your opponent where they're not going to be able to respond. It's reminiscent of the utility of Mutalisks, because early Mutalisk harassment is centered around doing damage but not receiving any damage yourself.
Right.
And that's what we saw early on by attacking the supply depot. The supply depot is not a very important building in and of itself, but it's thin, and so if you supply lock your enemy, they have to wait for the supply depot, or they have to drop a condo on top and make sure, and they lose the ability to use the mule. Mule's very, very important part of the Terran economy. What do you think?
No, I'm definitely in agreement with you. I really liked that replay. Although there was a bunch of mistakes on the Protoss side, I thought it was really interesting that he utilized Warp Prisms to the point of being able to fend off an army for a while with 4 units.
All right. Well, right now I'm going to go ahead and set up the interview, so just bear with me 1 second and we'll get this taken care of. Now, didn't you say that you had you'd watched a couple of Mortal drops? Because that's also a different way of going about it.
Immortal drops. Actually, I really liked it in 2v2. Terran and Protoss teams would drop Immortals using Terran ships.
Terran medevacs.
Yeah.
How does that work? Do you have to share unit control?
You do. You have to relinquish control, but that's a pretty common 2v2 strategy anyway, to allow one person to focus on the economy and another one to focus on the army. So Yeah, I mean, because they would just basically drop... The medevac carries 2 immortals, I believe. And they just pick them up, drop them off. It's all about micro, but just wait until right before the shields are completely gone. Let them recharge their shields. Wrecked havoc. Oh, I mean, it wasn't even really a game as much as it was a slaughtering.
Wow. I mean, that's something you saw a lot in Brood War. I'm always going to go back to Brood War. But shuttle play and dropship play, you can micro 4 Dragoons against tanks all day long with the shuttles.
The opposite of cheats. I mean, it requires such a high level of teching, such a high level of ability to micro.
Mechanical ability, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's really where the game sits. And,
the more we get into that, the more that I think the pros start to utilize these high mechanical things, I think the skill ceiling will go up.
Yeah.
And it'll become better more entertaining for spectators to watch.
And well, regardless of that, I'll still be in bronze.
Hey, there's something for everyone, and let's go ahead and see if we can get Spectral here. Now, Spectral is... I'm going to turn that down just a wee titch. Spectral is going to be our...
What's up?
Hey, Spectral, what's going on? You there?
Hey, can you hear me just fine?
I can hear you just fine. How you doing, buddy? Hello.
Cool, I'm doing good. You're not hearing like an echo because I think I have your live stream open.
Okay. Awesome. Well, let's start this off. First off, thank you so much for joining us. I had my questions written down somewhere. Oh, here we go. So let's just start off with basic question. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I think there's going to be some delay.
Actually, I think I'm only hearing you through the live stream.
That would explain the delay.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Yeah. Let me see. One second.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Technical difficulties. It's always something, I swear. Casting is... It can be a pain. Oh, here we go.
Where?
Microphone. It needs to be not stereo mix. It needs to be Snowball. There we go. All right, can you hear me now, buddy?
Perfect.
All right, there we go. So, let's start this off. Just basic questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 20 years old. I live in Portland, Oregon, which is on the West Coast, if you don't know where that is.
I almost...
It's, always wet outside unless it's like the summer. And, I have a younger sister, parents, I live by myself. With my roommate, and he also works for me and takes care of me.
That's pretty badass. So, the reason, I guess, why we're here, I mean, obviously you're a cool guy, but the real thing is your particular situation. Quadriplegic is the correct term for that, correct?
Yes, for sure. Quadriplegic is pretty much like anybody who's impaired on 4 limbs. You can like quad, and then there's para, which is like 2. So those are people that are usually impaired with their legs. Or there's hemiplegic, but those are people usually with brain injuries that are injured on only half of their body. So you can usually pick it apart. Break it down and figure out usually what it means that way.
Cool.
So yes.
Well, I guess. Well,
So how did that occur to you?
Well, I was diving into a lake in California in 2007. Right, roughly in it was July. Yep. So it was a month and a half after I turned 17. So,
and what happened? I've dove into a few lakes myself, and haven't had any issues. So.
I was diving out and I hit a sandbar in the bottom.
Oh man!
Yeah, it was near a runoff, where a mountain, and it just must have shifted. I mean, or whatever, overnight. But
I dove into a pool once and hit my nose in the bottom. That was really scary, actually.
I met a guy who dove into an empty pool once.
Yeah, the funny thing is I still had forward momentum, so it wasn't it stopped me dead at all either, when I had actually hit my head. So I remember breaking my neck and, what's it called? Holding my breath for a couple minutes, and ended up inevitably drowning, and was pulled out of the water, resuscitated, and all that kind of stuff, and life flighted to the nearest hospital, which was like 2.5 hours away. So breaking your neck is pretty serious.
Yeah.
And you probably shouldn't dive.
No diving zone, period. Well, glad that you're still here with us. Now, that's going to lead us to pretty much... Let's talk about gaming, because that's where you and I came to know each other. And were you into gaming before all of this?
Oh yes, for sure. Like, probably a couple days before I'd broken my neck, I was like raiding Karazhan, like tanking it.
Oh yeah,
with my warrior. So it's like, it's good times, man, good times. And so, like, it was funny. I was in the hospital. I was like, somebody play my goddamn warrior. No,
he's all lonely.
I can't lose it. And like, so I had my buddy getting me the good stuff. And so when it was a natural transition to want to come back into gaming. I mean, but I ended up like really, really messing up like myself. I caught like the 4th deadliest bug in the world, like a staph infection.
Ooh.
In my lungs, yeah. And it was like due to when I had my neck fused or whatever. But well, the point is I lost like 65 pounds in like a month, and so my recovery was far like harder than, let's say, a typical quadriplegic, because I had lost so much like upper body muscle mass, I think is a good way to put it, you know?
Was it because of atrophy, or was
it was pure atrophy. I didn't move. I mean, like, for a whole month I was on a ventilator and the whole works. And I mean, that it had absolutely nothing to do with me actually breaking my neck, which was very interesting. But so, like, when I moved back to gaming, like, it was so hard to like just like, push W to walk forward or whatever, or like 1 to charge or 2 to like Mortal Strike. That's I set it up, of course, right?
Yeah.
So I think I really, really want to credit gaming to like pushing me to where I am today, because I mean, I swear, like, if you were to play the way I play, like, I have to hold my arm up all the time for playing with my left hand and my right hand. So I'm constantly like just holding my arms out, chilling. You know, like playing the game this way. So
that's incredible.
The motivation to get back to gaming was always there, and it was a really big drive, and it inevitably became a goal to become good at gaming, I think.
Well, speaking of goals, what kind of goals do you actually have within gaming itself, especially StarCraft 2?
Well, I just have the goal to excel as far as I can. I mean, I just heard you were saying you're never going to get out of bronze, right?
Oh, yeah.
I just got into silver.
Oh, boosh!
Whatever.
I know, right? I was like stoking. I was like almost pushing 2,000 points bronze. I was like, this is never going to happen.
Yeah.
But, no, I actually have a pretty good record. It's like 143 wins and like 103 losses.
Nice.
40 games up.
Nice. Better than what I got. Diamond is a bitch.
Oh,
fuck.
Yeah, you think Diamond is a bitch.
I would. That was not. Don't even make it out like that.
Didn't you used to play as random?
Yes, I did. I got into Diamond as random.
That's still impressive. I'm sorry. I couldn't do that. I'd be like, oh, 6 pool. Oh, I'm going to make a gateway outside of his ramp, and hopefully this works.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely a long, grinding experience. But tell us a little bit about what you use to play, because I know that you have certain devices that you use.
Yeah, it started off with, they wanted me to use, like, this little tracker device that you, like, put on your nose, right? That was my very first interaction with a computer. So it would like read where, like, if I turn my head left or right, it would like move the mouse around, and if I held still for long enough, it would click. But I was like, when I was first interacting with this, I was like, there's no way I can deal with this. This is so slow. And like a lot of quadriplegics were stoking on this, and they're like, Yeah, and and they're like, yeah, what's it, dragon naturally speaking or whatever. They're always like trying
Oh,
to
yeah,
use that too. And I was like, no, like, is there any way I could push this button? And they had like pulled out these like typing aid switches that you see on my left hand.
Yeah.
Which is also typically known as like a stick, which is what my friends call it. It's like a plastic mold that would like go on my hand that would go. Let's just say if you were to hold a pencil in your and make a fist and hold it like and go straight down. That's kind of how I would peck and click a key, pretty much. Yeah. Well, no, not like that. Like in your hand. Yeah, kind of like the guy on the left. He's got it.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Okay.
just like that. So that's
I'm a natural.
Yeah, so it wraps around. So that's how I did it. So it started off with one of those, and then I was like, okay, I can hold down W, but I want to push like charge at the same time. So it started off I was the first one that I saw using like 2, and I don't even know anybody else that uses 2. But so I used 2 of those to push 2 different keys at one time.
Nice.
When I was playing an MMO, and then I wanted to play FPSs, right? So I had to design a mouse.
Wow.
So I went out and bought a wireless mouse.
Yeah.
Taken some Mighty Putty and strapped on like what it almost seems like a wrist guard, like if you were gonna go skating.
Right.
So kind of fastened it to that and built up the left and right clicker with Mighty Putty too, so I could click it with my palm. Yeah, so it's. I mean, I have videos where you can see it, but I mean, it was a great way to just drag around the mouse, and still have really good control because it was on my arm. So it wasn't like I was gonna fall off or lose it or anything.
You've got videos with that in there, don't you?
Yeah, for sure I do.
Yeah.
Where can we find those? Let's link those to the viewers.
One of the viewers
the
tried
chat.
to link it. Unfortunately, the URL is automatically removed.
We can link
You
URLs
can-
to the mod.
Yeah.
Or if you are a mod. I don't
I'm
know
not
if
a
you're
mod.
Well, we'll go ahead and we'll get the links taken care of. Let's see. So, well, you've got aspirations to just excel as far as you possibly can. What about what's like your best game that you feel that you've ever played?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I do lots of really good 5 racks pushes.
Yeah.
Or 4 racks.
Or 2 racks.
So I'll just pretty much block off my ramp with the supply depot and then the barracks, and then I'll just push all in. So I don't know. Those are really awesome games because you wouldn't expect me to pull a micro-intensive thing or whatever.
What kind of APM do you generally pull?
Oh darn. Average, I've pulled 31 is one of the best games. It was a 31 APM, but I just made a new mouse and with my clicking with my palm, I couldn't believe it, but I saw 360 at one moment. I think when I was using two
Oh,
hands.
nice.
I was like, holy crap. This
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Well, there you go, man.
GSL, here we come.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think I played a really awesome game today where I just was using mech, which is just not really what I would normally use, but I was just blocking off everything really well with my tanks and pushed out and just rolled it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And he was Zerg.
Well, I can't give you too much credit for winning a TVZ.
Oh.
I get my butt handed to me all the time. Are you kidding me by the Zerg?
I'm terrible, I guess.
It's either I cheese you or I lose, alright? So, waiting, I early expanded, I fast expanded on this one. I went 1 barracks fast expand, which is just not me at all.
I mean, you have obviously the potential to do it, so I look forward to seeing a lot of your games. Do you have any replays that we can watch? Do you post your replays anywhere?
I'm gonna start, yeah, and I also have this new idea where I'm trying to get some other quadriplegics, or not necessarily even quads, but just other people that have gamed with some sort of disability, which is either they broke their hand in 4 places, or they got injured in Iraq, which I got contacted, but I'm gonna go ahead and try and like film multiple people playing each other with disabilities, and even like inner working pros playing people with disabilities.
That
would be amazing.
That sounds really incredible.
Yeah.
Actually.
And try to set it up to where they have like some sort of like I don't know, kind of like mimicked, disability. Like I don't know, like they have to play with a stick in their hand like you were just holding it, and their mouse with their left hand.
Well,
maybe north.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, it would be really cool to see someone playing, like leveling the playing field with that kind of handicap. I mean, even they like bound their hand or something like that, so they only had one actual clicking device or something of that nature. That's really cool. So, have you played against any other quads?
Yeah, I have. I played against another quadriplegic the other day. I just rolled him. I'm not even gonna begin to lie. He was like, I don't play very much. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. But it was.
Let me rate you.
It was alright. I think I have more movement than him though, so I'm gonna give him credit for even attempting to play against me.
I mean, I think that's the incredible thing is that you can turn around and have such a life-changing thing that, for me, I'm a musician. I wouldn't have a way to get back into that, but your drive to do that, to get back into what you love is pretty inspiring.
I was in 5 bands when I broke my neck, so I like that whole idea of being a musician. I played for at least 3 hours a day, so I was very, very driven as far as like being a bass player. Actually, my drummer that was in 3 of my bands now is the current drummer for Smashing Pumpkins.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
You got the hookup.
Yeah, no joke.
Oh, dude, I actually introduced him.
Okay, so who do you know?
Like a make-wish thing just happened to happen, and I ended up introducing him.
Nice.
Wow.
I know. Crazy story right there. But,
awesome.
Anyways, yeah.
Well, that's...
Got like the flags behind you guys. Looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
Totally right.
And a Frank Zappa poster.
No more couch for us. And yeah, it's a little bit of change of scenery. I've been running around like a chick with my head cut off trying to get all this shit to work because there's a lot of it.
I think it looks good, dude.
Oh, thank you. It's going to be pretty cool to see what you're going to be bringing up there. Of course, let us know. We will be doing this show weekly, so we'd love to have you back sometime. But you got anything else you guys like to ask?
I'm good.
No, congratulations, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And of course, I'll be seeing you around vVv. So either way, man, yeah, take it easy. Thanks for showing up, and have a great evening.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
No problem at all. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye. In call. So that is that's pretty cool. That
was a really incredible story. There were moments where I was like, "Holy shit!"
Did you get something in your eye?
Holy shit!
Because
yeah, a little something.
I mean,
it's a dusty room.
Every time I bitch about my shitty APM and I'm raged and I can't do whatever, he's screaming at me for lacking in macro or something.
Staring at the screen.
Well, I don't have any grounds to
interview me.
bitch now.
I have
apparently.
some sort of fainting disease where every time someone gets into my base, I faint.
She does lock up pretty bad. But hey, I guess we have our own problems, and I guess it's definitely a humbling experience to sit there and say that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good. Oh, how?
It's good. Feel good.
Well, it's good feeling. What is that damn term?
Feel good story of the week. That good feeling it gives me?
No,
it's
whatever.
A very good feeling.
My brain died on me. I'm done with that. Well, I think that pretty much covers everything we had. I mean,
that's a wrap.
New
Chicken
maps.
soup for the soul?
Chicken. No. That's you right there. No. Yeah, that was that pretty much covers it all. With TSL coming up, really excited about that. The interview. Going to be doing more interviews.
Yeah, Rebel Music has a Warp Prism abuse replay that he sent me.
He sent it to you?
Mm-hmm.
Did he send the link?
We'll have to check that out, yeah.
Where is it?
He wants to watch it.
Wisdom? Hold on. Well, we might have something else here if you can... log in here ASAP. But it's actually pretty funny because there's a lot of stuff going on lately in the scene with all these tournaments that were going on. When we logged on, what was there, like 3 or 4 of them blazing, like high level tournaments.
Today's a crazy day actually for the StarCraft 2 scene.
And with those new maps that they added, I'm actually kind of tempted to buy the GSL pack because
it's not gonna be till GSL 5.
Oh, it's not till GSL 5?
Well, it's not till the next one.
4.
What are we in right now?
Oh wait, they just started 4.
Is it? I don't know if they're actually started 4 or if this is some kind of like.
Look it up. Look it up. We got.
It's hard to say. It's there's nothing. There's no like just go look and find.
Well, either way, when those maps come in there, I can't wait to see that. Hopefully, it kind of shunts everyone in the right direction. Actually, looking forward. Have you seen any of the vVv guys play at all? Have you seen Murder play?
No, I haven't.
Murder got let's look this up real quick. vVv Murder is awesome, and he qualified first in Craft Cup, in the second Craft Cup.
Second in Craft Cup and first in Justin.TV qualified.
Yeah, there you go. Bam. That's pretty awesome, especially for. Just coming into the scene like that. This is going to be a new face. This is going to be someone you're going to have to watch out for because there's going to be it's quality. He raked the crap out of me when I played him. So. Good stuff.
Well,
good
that's
stuff.
not too hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Says the person that lost to me 7 times.
I don't know what you're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, out of 9. Okay. He's got replays from This Is Jimmy and lots of other stuff on there. I can't really read that quite well. Is it there?
No, that's one of my games. You don't want to watch that.
Okay. Well, either way, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to pull it up.
No, it's here. I just show me how to take it off. Sorry.
Well, that computer is not. I can't see that over here.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't broadcast that.
We'll get it next time.
We'll get it next
Experiment
time.
with war prisms this week, and if you got any
We'll do a
awesome
follow-up.
replays to show us, send it in. We want to check out replays. We want to talk about your games. So
StarCraftNation@gmail.com. Send it there. Any sort of feedback. Post on the TL forums. Post on the vVv forums. It's vvv-gaming.com. Just any sort of feedback because we really, really appreciate that kind of stuff. So. Anyway, you got anything else?
No, I think that we've covered everything.
I think we're good to go.
All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Until next week.
Yeah, until next week. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, citizens, stay safe. Ooh, what? Don't.
Oh yeah.